Peace, y'all. It's the Lord Head Cold World. I'm over here kicking it with the guy Jay Wiggs. What's good, sir?
What's good, Brody?
Can't call it. Want to welcome everybody back to another episode of Brodies Sports Talk. We're at episode 3 of the third season. It's the Blacktop edition. The snowstorm had Bama's, isolated. It was kind of hard to get some episodes out, Wiggs.
Oh, hey, nah, that was a vicious ice storm. So we got snowcrete outside. Like you see, I got the snow pants on. I was still doing shoveling today. We're a week away from snowfall, and people are still shoveling out. So nah, it was legit out here, man.
Yeah, man. Well, shout out to everybody out there that's trying to get through the ice and everything. Hope you got dug out. Pause. Hey, but as usual, click on the Instagram. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and like and subscribe on YouTube, and click on the bottom right-hand corner and tell a friend to tell a friend. We got to get to 500 subscribers. But to go ahead to kick things off here, Brodies, we have finally, we got both sides of the ball taken care of as far as our leadership goes. So we're finally about to take command here, Wiggs. We got our offensive coordinator in David Blough. We got our defensive coordinator in Daronte Jones. Shout out to Bishop McNamara. So I had to wear the sweater today, the sweatshirt to represent. But we got two first timers here, Wiggs. With no proven track record. We're taking a limb out on him, man. It is what it is. There's some positive things that we'll talk about here, but to start things off, Wiggs, what do you expect from Daronte Jones as our defensive coordinator?
Well, I'm expecting big things. One of the reasons is because he does come from a good tree of defensive coordinators, and Brian Flores being one of the most recent ones. And he's worked with some other big names around the league. But specifically, let's talk about Brian Flores and what he's done for the Minnesota Vikings most recently as the defensive passing game coordinator. He had them number 2 in the league as far as yards allowed in passing. And again, you give most of that credit to Flores, but he's the defensive passing game coordinator. So he works very closely with the secondary and works very closely with the game plan for that. And I think that's going to continue this year. The Vikings have an identity, and that's something that we've talked about all off season long. All year long, right, Co? Is that we didn't have an identity. And when you go to a defensive coordinator like Brian Flores, he has an identity. His identity is blitz, blitz, blitz. He's going to disguise packages. He's going to send seven-man blitzes at any time of the game on any down. So you never know what's going to come, but you know that there's going to be pressure. And that's something that when you have a weak defense, that's a way to kind of hide how weak the defense is, because like we said it last year, Co, at least send the damn blitz. Like if you
can't do nothing else, at least blitz.
At least blitz. So knowing that Daronte Jones is coming from that system, knowing that he's coached at all levels, high school, D1, D2, D3, CFL, NFL.
He's been all over the place.
He's been all over the place. Like you said, he went to a prestigious high school out here in McNamara, coached at Bowie State University, also went to Morgan State University. So that's something else that I like, is that he's going to come in and know the area. He grew up in Capitol Heights as well. So I think it's something, it says a lot when people want to come back home and be around people that they grew up with. And he's going to, I think, really fit in well, really merge well. It reminds me of when I used to work for the Commanders in the stadium. We had a lot of people from New York, and I was kind of the liaison in between, because I'm from the area. I was able to kind of tell the New Yorkers, this is how we do things here. And it really let us have a good season. I think Daronte is going to do the same thing. Hey, this is how we've done things here. I've worked at Bowie State. Maybe we can bring some Bowie State, just bring some people from Bowie State in, not to the games, but, just kind of bring the city together type of thing. Yeah. Off the field, and then on the field, like I said, he's going to have an identity. So I'll say one last thing too about Daronte. I think it's still going to give Dan Quinn a chance to put his fingerprints on the defense.
Yeah,
that was something I mentioned before. Is that with these new hires, Dan Quinn, this is your third season. You're gonna have to make sure that you get the job done, because it's not gonna be on these coordinators might lose their job after this season. They know that they want a chance to showcase what they can showcase, but it all is really gonna come down to on Dan Quinn. So he's gonna have to make sure that Daronte looks good and that David Blough looks good.
Yeah. I think what he's going to end up doing is kind of going back to what he was doing the first year, which was kind of like a CEO coach. I've been hearing that phrase being tossed around, where they don't run the offense, they don't run the defense, they kind of just oversee everything and make the final decisions on things. And kind of like Harbaugh, basically. You know, Harbaugh didn't really work with the defense, he didn't really work with the offense, but he made the final call. So to your point, he's going to be able to kind of direct Jones and Blough as far as like the culture and the identity. Like, okay, look, this is what we want to do on offense, Blough. We want to be able to put up numbers, but we don't want to risk 5. So we want to run the ball. We want him under center. We don't want too many quarterback play calls where he's running the ball intentionally. Like scrambling, it is what it is. But like we want to protect 5 of all time at all times. And we got to utilize the weapons that we have here. With Jones, it's like, look, I'm a defensive coach. This is your first time. What I want is I want you to bring what Flores had last year. I want you to bring that here. Everything you learned from him, bring that here. And I want you to try to fill it in this cookie cutter type of style of defense that I want to run. You want to do a 3-4 defense? Fine. But I want these people on the defensive line and these people at linebackers, and then you have it, go play, do what you want to do. So I think that's gonna mess well, Wicks. And to your point, a couple of weeks ago, you said that Quinn is good at picking coordinators. I mean, we had injuries, y'all. So it wasn't like we had shitty coordinators. We just had injuries this year. But I mean, Joe Wade, we took a flyer out on him. It is what it is. But like we have enough talent for them to do some type of offensive scheme that's going to generate at least 20 to 28 points a game, because our defense is not going to be good. It's still not going to be good.
But right? It's nowhere to go but up.
Right, exactly. So like if we can just go from 32 to maybe 25, that can get us 10 wins and we'll be able to make the playoffs.
Yeah, and just listening to what you're saying, Co, it just makes me think injuries are still going to be a big part of next season. So my thing would be, are we a next man up type of team? That was one of the things that I noticed about a lot of the teams in the playoffs this year. Let's talk about, let's say the San Francisco 49ers. You know, I think very highly of Kyle Shanahan and what he's done over there. And they had injuries all season. And, you know, when it came to the playoffs, they were able to beat the Eagles. They lost to the Seahawks. We'll talk about them a little bit later. But it's just one of those next man up mentalities. That's something I want to see Dan Quinn get back to. That's something I want to see the coordinators talk about is, you know, if we do have injuries, we're making sure that everybody's on board. It's got to be next man up mentality, because we're going to have injuries, you know, and if that means Terry McLaurin goes out, all right, who's going to step up? And that goes to Adam Peters, you know, because these coordinators are going to have to work very closely with Adam Peters this offseason on what they want and how they want to fill this roster out. You know, we talked about Cliff Kingsbury really wanting that offensive lineman that we drafted number 1 last year, Josh Connerly. He told Adam Peters, and Adam Peters went out and got it. I think that's great. You know, I really do think that that's one of the reasons that GMs are starting to get a longer leash, is because they're listening to the coaches. And it's, you know, when it comes time to decide who's going to go, if the offensive coordinator is the one that said, let's go get this player, when it's time to make the decision, all right, if that player doesn't work out, then you got to go. The GM is going to get a longer leash. So I'm really interested to see, you know, what we do this offseason, how Adam Peters meshes with these coordinators. And one of the things that I was hearing, Co, is that Daronte Jones had an excellent interview. He's just a passing coordinator, but I think coming out of that tree with Brian Flores, it was no guarantee that he was going to get the job. There were other players. We know Dan Quinn likes his guys, which Al Harris was one of those guys that was in position to get the job. But I'm hearing that Daronte Jones really, really did well in the interview. And I think that means he's going to mesh well. Again, like you said, culture. Dan Quinn wants to build a culture. He's the CEO, so he needs guys that are going to be on board. And I think that's what we have. David Blough as well. I didn't talk too much about him, but that's a guy that was already in the building. So I would imagine they have a really good culture together. Like you said, Cole, he's a quarterback coach, so he's going to make sure that JD5 is good. And I'll say this too. Terry McLaurin made a huge impact last year. So if Terry McLaurin's healthy, if JD5's healthy, I think we're definitely a 10-win team. Like, it could be as simple as having those two guys all season long. We're going to be a dangerous team. And like you said, if the defense can go from 32 to 25, I can see 10 wins and at least a playoff seeding next year.
So, like, the offense, I mean, we've spoken on this several times. Like, they're going to be able to just revise, if you will, Cliff Kingsbury's offensive scheme. I mean, it's basically going to be the same stuff, but with Blough's touch. So, do
you think they'll be under center more next year?
I don't see any reason why not. I mean, I think they've heard enough of the naysayers, say how, Cliff Kingsbury has been in shotgun way too much. I think you're going to start seeing a little bit more of a pro offense. But
I think Jaden is good for that. I think Jaden can.
Yeah, he can do any offense. He's him. Any offense, he's going to run to an elite level. I think you're going to see more under center from Blough. I think you're going to see less hurry up. I think you're going to see more quick passes, more RPO type of stuff, just to keep people off of Five's ass. And with Jones, I mean, like you said, I think he's going to be doing more aggressive play calling. Like, we're probably going to get a lot more blitzing. Look for us to switch from a 4-3 to a 3-4. So look for that. I guarantee it. So we got to find fast people. So
I was going to say, I think that fits well with the defensive players that we have right now. We really, let's say we have one defensive lineman in the middle, Daron Payne. I'm not sure if we're going to bring Daron Payne back.
I was just about to ask you that. I think they're probably going to let him play out on his contract and then let him go, maybe.
Yeah. So if he comes back, let's say one more year.
If we cut him, I think it's like $16 or $17 million that we free in the cap. So
yeah, so that's why I think he might be done. But we still have Johnny Newton that we drafted that can be our defensive lineman. He can get on the defensive end. We can really move those linemen around because even the player that we got last year in free agency at the defensive end spot, these guys are kind of around that 270, 280 pound range. So when you have a 3-4 package, you can start moving players around. Even Frankie Luvu, you can move around a little bit more. That's a perfect type of player to fit into Flores, Daronte Jones type of scheme. So I'm really looking for Jordan McGee. That's another fast linebacker. Let's see some speed from these guys. And then our secondary, I really like our secondary pieces. If we get a safety in the draft, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Yeah. But if we can get a really good safety, I already like our cornerbacks in Sam Rastil and Trey Amos on the outside. We on get the outside, one more. Exactly. Yep. I like them on the outside. We get one more corner just for depth, and then get a really good safety, whether it's in free agency or in the draft. I really think the secondary is going to be in a good space. And then that pressure up front, the pressure can stop the run. The pressure can make the ball come out faster. And then, you can start having an identity. And I think we can really work with that. So I'm looking forward to next season.
Yeah, I agree. Let us know what you think there, Brodies. Click on the bottom right-hand corner and like and subscribe and tell a friend to tell a friend. Now, it's Super Bowl week, Wigs. Unfortunately, the Skins didn't make it. The Skins didn't make it, but one particular player in Five's draft class did, and he's about to set a precedent for this, like a freaking high bar here for his draft class. And then a particular draft class that we had high hopes on, one particular player we kind of wrote off. And he's here to kind of shut everybody up, man. So we got a super legacy on the line here, Wiggs. So whose legacy is going to be affected the most with a Super Bowl win? Drake Maye's or Sam Darnold's?
I'm going to get it out the way early. I think Sam Darnold and the Seahawks are going to win the Super Bowl. So I think because they're a little bit older and because Drake Maye is a little bit younger, he's got time. Him making it to the Super Bowl is already a big
in his second year. Yeah,
in his second year, him already being an MVP candidate is, he's gonna finish top 2. So Jaden was
finishing runner up.
Yeah, Jaden was probably top 5 quarterbacks. I don't think he made the finalists last year, but as far as quarterbacks go, Jaden was a top 5 quarterback by most people in the media. But Drake Maye followed this second year up and just really outshined a lot of quarterbacks.
Quantum leap, man.
Yeah, so shout out to him. Shout out to Mike Vrabel being the right guy. I mean, the right guy. Vrabel really came in, and I told you that too, Cole, because you had the quarterbacks, but I said with these coaches, these are some really good coaches. I have a lot of respect for Vrabel and Mike Macdonald. Mike Macdonald comes from the John Harbaugh tree. I know how much respect you have for John Harbaugh.
Yeah.
And McDonald's really turned that Seattle team around. This is a team that Pete Carroll was the coach of, going back to the Legion of Boom, and he couldn't really do much with them. And we'll get to this also in the next segment, Cole, with the Ravens and what they're going to do after John Harbaugh. But seeing Mike Macdonald and what he's been able to do with the Seahawks, I really think he might have a chance to kind of redefine the coaches that have success in the league, because a lot of people in the media have been talking about the offensive coaches, the Kyle Shanahans and the Kubiaks and just all these offensive coaches. We have a Super Bowl with two defensive
coaches. Yep.
So McDonald and Vrabel are 2 defensive coaches.
That's so point.
That's been the theme really all season long, is these teams that are heavy defensive teams. So I'm looking at the quarterbacks. Like I said, I think Seattle's the better team. I think Sam Darnold is, I'm not going to say the better quarterback, but I think Sam Darnold is better than, because this defense has been, not compared to the Ravens, but this defense is dominant. The Seahawks defense is dominant.
Defense, yep.
Is very dominant. And
Sam Darnold statistically has had the better playoffs than Drake Maye.
Right. But I'm trying to think, who's the Ravens quarterback when they Trent Dilfer. He's much better than a Trent Dilfer type of quarterback. So if he can come in and throw for 250, 300 yards with this defense, I actually think this might get ugly. Now, the New England Patriots do have a really good defense, so it could be a close game. And I think Drake Maye had a shoulder injury, so he's probably going to get that shot, and he's probably going to play with a lot of adrenaline, so he can play out of his mind. So I'm looking forward to it being a close game, but give me Sam Darnold and Mike Macdonald to really boost their legacy. But I do think Vrabel and Maye have done a great job and exceeded expectations already.
Oh yeah, hands down. I mean, you couldn't have asked for more from Drake Maye or Vrabel in this is Vrabel's first year with them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't ask for more. So legacy wise, I mean, Vrabel gets to extend the Patriots dynasty. Kind of like a spinoff series when a show goes off the air and they got a spinoff. He gets to extend the Patriots dynasty, if you will, because he was a part of it. And Drake Maye gets to enter, a legacy where, I don't care what nobody says. I don't think there's no bigger shoes to fill than Tom Brady's, right? So you're coming to an organization that's basically like Derrick Rose coming to the Bulls, when he got drafted. It's like you're coming to an organization that not only is known for winning, but won in a dominating way. Like these Bama's went on a 15 straight division title run, 15 straight years. That's not going to be repeated. So like that's a legacy that Drake, Maye, and Vrabel. It's like those some big shoes to fill, man. And with Sam Darnold, I think his legacy is going to be impacted the most because he was written off. Like he's from the Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson draft class, and they considered this man a bust after he left New York. They called him some trash when he was in Carolina. He got a breath of fresh air in Shanahan's system in San Francisco, but no one really gave him his credit because it's like anybody can do well in Shanahan's system. So he shuts him up in Minnesota, but he's Sam Darnold's when it mattered, right? So now we talked about it last year, Wicks. He left so much money on the table because he shit the bed, But he's got his contract with Seattle. They believe in him now, and hey, man, like I said, I really think McDonald sat down and was like, "Yo, look, you don't need to F this up. You don't have to be Superman. Yeah. If the play's not there, throw it away. We'll punt it. We'll get the ball back for you. We got a defense, so don't worry about it." So I think that's what they told him when the playoffs started, and he's been on fire ever since. So I think the Seahawks are going to win. I think this is going to be redemption, and just for you, Wiggs, they're going to win on a 1-yard touchdown run.
Oh man,
they're gonna run the ball this time, Wiggs.
Doug, that would be insane. Shout out to Kenneth Walker, Michigan State alum, and he runs the ball hard. So I would love to see the Seahawks win like that. That's a great call, man. Let me ask you this: who do you think is going to win the turnover battle? Because we know in the playoffs, that's huge. Whoever wins the turnover battle wins the game. We've mentioned Drake Maye has not played well in these playoffs. But again, he has a shoulder injury, so he has a reason to get the shot. And I just feel like even Sam Darnold had it last week. He had an oblique injury. He comes into the game, gets the shot. He throws for 300-something yards. So that shot, listen, that joint is underrated, man. It's kind of like a boost that they don't talk about. So with Drake Maye having that, it numbs the pain, and you can just go out there and do whatever. So I feel like Drake Maye might secretly kind of have a great game. And maybe the same thing for Sam Darnold. But again, these are two really good defenses. Who do you think is going to win the turnover battle? And do you think that team is going to win the Super Bowl? I
think Seattle's going to win the turnover battle because Drake Maye has been coughing the ball up every game this year. His defense has been saving his ass, but he's fumbled or turned the ball over or has gotten sacked at least once or twice a game.
Every game.
So that I don't see any reason why that's not going to happen against Seattle. So I'm going with Seattle. I think they're going to turn the ball over. I think they're going to get at least 1 or 2 turnovers, and one of them is going to be the backbreaker. So I definitely think that the Patriots have a shot to win, because they're still going against Sam Darnold,
Right.
So we don't know if he's going to be Sam Darnold of old or this new Sam Darnold that we've seen. So it's not going to be like, oh, the Seahawks are going to win 30-10 or something like that. No, it could be like a 17-10, 21-17 type of game where it falls down to whoever makes the most boneheaded plays between Maye and Darnold is going to determine who wins the game.
Yeah, another thing I'm keeping my eye on is Rashid Shaheed. They said he missed the flight. He's an X Factor, and they said he missed the flight to San Francisco. So I'm hoping that doesn't affect any game plans or anything like that. But like you said, Cole, he's an X Factor, and I think that's another reason that the Seahawks have the advantage is I would say they have the better defense. You know how much I love Nick Emanwori, the safety that they have. Yeah. I mean, he can just eliminate any tight end on the field. And Drake Maye loves to go to Hunter Henry. We know Stephon Diggs is out there, but he hasn't been doing too much in the playoffs. I do expect Stephon Diggs to have a big game in the playoffs. Yeah. So Brodies out there, if y'all want to put Stephon Diggs for 50 receiving yards, put it down. I think he's going to get that. And I like Drake Maye for 30 rushing yards.
Okay.
Because I don't like Drake Maye has not been passing well.
This Bama threw for 86 yards.
So and this is a great defense. So I do like Drake Maye using his legs. And I do like Stephon Diggs because again, Nick Emmanwori, man, he's he takes people off the field. Like the running backs out of the backfield, the tight ends, Nick Emmanwori is going to be there, and then special teams, like I was mentioning, Rashid Shaheed. He's a beast, man. They're not gonna be able to kick the ball to him, which means they're gonna have great field position. Yeah. And that matters a lot in these games. I think when you go back to last year's Super Bowl between the Chiefs and the Eagles, I think the Chiefs didn't get on the other side of the field until like the third or fourth.
Like the second half, yeah.
That was a dominating win because of field position. So I think we're going to see a lot of that in this game because the Seahawks have a better defense, better special teams, and a quarterback that's older, that knows how to manage the experience, that's been through tough times, and that now knows, hey, I don't have to do it all to win this game. I can hand the ball off to Kenneth Walker. I can throw to the number one receiver in the league in Jackson Smith-Njigba.
You have a team around you. There's no. This is basically a better Vikings team.
Really, it really is. So to me, there's no reason they should lose. But again, like you said, Cole, this could be the second coming of this Patriots dynasty. Mike Vrabel has just done a tremendous job. Drake Maye has big shoes to fill, but he's been filling them. I mean, doing a great job. He's basically following the Brady playbook right now, getting to the Super Bowl in his second season. He might win because they have a really good defense to depend on, really good running backs, decent wide receivers. So, I mean, this is literally right out of the Brady playbook. So I would not be surprised to see the Patriots win. Because I do think the refs, I'll say this last thing, I do think the refs are going to try to keep it close. We had a blowout last year in the Super Bowl, so I think the refs are going to try to keep this one close. And that might be what shifts the game one way or the other. But I'm with you, Ko. I think the Seahawks are going to win the turnover battle, and that's going to be the difference in this game.
Yeah, and also last point here, I think offensively, I think the Seahawks have the better offense. If you take out the quarterbacks, they have Shaheed, they got Cooper Kupp, they got MBJ, and then you got Walker. So I mean that's four against their Diggs and their two running backs. Maybe I don't really count Hunter Henry as a weapon. Maybe Booty or Booted, whatever how you pronounce it. I don't know. But they have the better offense. So I think that's going to be the deciding factor. But, let us know what you think there, Brodies. Click on the bottom right-hand corner and like and subscribe on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and tell a friend. Now, in this area, school is out because they're too soft to stand outside at the bus stop without catching some type of new disease out there that's from all them damn medicines and vaccines they pumping these kids with. They can't stand, outside for 5 minutes without catching something, or they're always sneezing and coughing and all this shit because they're soft. But anyway, I digress. When you're in school, you have, essays to turn in, book reports, right? And there's always, if you followed the school system, we grew up in, before you turned in your final work, you had to submit what was called a rough draft. Okay, so we got a couple of months before the offseason officially starts with the combine, and then draft talk is going to start picking up. So the Brodies will be coming to you with another installment of our mock draft. We did really well with that, so we're going to be bringing that back to you. But the Skins are picking number 7. So Wiggs is going to give us some prospects here. And we'll see which one we're going to officially pick on the mock draft here. But Wiggs, why don't you go ahead and tell the Brodies some prospects that we could possibly take at pick number 7.
All right, I've been going back and forth online about this. I had to get this segment pushed in because people.
We were doing so well.
Hey, yo. People have been going back and forth with me online in the comment sections on some of the Commanders fans. We're a hopeful bunch. The off season is we win the off season every season. We're
every season undefeated, never lost.
Man, so I've been just going back and forth because we do have the number 7 pick. That's a high enough draft pick for us to get somebody really good, a game changer on offense or defense. I want to focus on defense this week. We'll focus on offense next week because there's some really good offensive players in this draft, but we need defense. We needed defense last year. We went offense in the first round. I just don't see how we pass up on a defensive game changer this year with the number 7 pick. We could trade down. That is a possibility. But if we stay at the number 7 pick, here are 3 players that I really like this year. They may not be available because they're really good, but with this number 7 pick, you never know.
Okay.
Ruben Bain. Defensive end out of the University of Miami. Ruben Bain, in my opinion, was the best defensive player in the college football playoffs this year.
Okay.
He has strong hands and a good motor. I mean, this guy, when you watch him play, he's making an impact on every down. That's something I love to see out of top picks. Are you in the play? And if you're not in the play, are you running toward the play? Because some players give up. They see the play, you think somebody's going to make the tackle. They don't. And then that player ends up going off for a big rush. That does not happen on Ruben Bain's teams. He's going towards the ball. If somebody else makes the tackle, he's still going towards the ball. Very good motor, strong hands, double teamed a lot. So we talked about Myles Garrett and Trey Hendrickson last year because Myles Garrett is the type of player that's going to get double teamed. Myles Garrett ended up getting a sack record this year. Ruben Bain, I don't think he's going to be a sack record type of player, but he's going to be an impact player just as much as Myles Garrett.
That's what we need.
He's going to command double teams. And when he can command double teams, other players will be able to benefit. For example, there's another good defensive end for Miami that may be taken in the first round. But a lot of his play is the benefit of Ruben Bain. So Ruben Bain will make our other players look great, and we need a player like that.
Okay.
Ruben Bain is also a power rusher, very violent, great against the run. Like I said, demands double teams. The one flaw, because we got to nitpick these players, he had short arms, 30 inch arms. I'm not gonna be the slave master, the overseer, like a lot of these white guys are. Listen, is he a good football player? He's a great football player. I'm telling you, 30-inch arm. Jerry Jones wants to know the size of inanimate objects. I don't care about that stuff. Can he play football? Ruben Bain can play football, man.
They say the same thing about John Randall.
I'm telling you. So this guy is that type of player, just violent, a physical force on the field. And he still has good size for a defensive end, 6'3", 275. He's fast. Some people have said he doesn't have enough bend. This guy can get to the quarterback. He can get blockers off of him so he can make a play on the run. And this is what now that we have a defensive coordinator in Daronte Jones, this is the perfect type of player to have in his system because a lot of times we have, in my opinion, good secondary. But when you don't get a rush and when you're not getting pressure on the quarterback, it's only so long that any secondary can hold up in the NFL. Somebody's going to get open. The quarterback's going to make a play. So everything starts up front. Let's improve this front 7 with the number 7 pick and Ruben Bain.
Okay.
Staying on the defensive line, let's go to David Bailey. I have Ruben Bain slightly ahead of Bailey because Bain is good on the pass and the rush. Bailey
He's the edge rusher too?
Bailey is the edge rusher too, coming out of Texas Tech. And Texas Tech is another really good defense. They held Oregon to a low in the college football playoffs. Oregon had the number 2 quarterback coming out who chose to stay because he didn't want to go to the New York Jets. But David Bailey was giving him hell. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't blame him at all. But David Bailey was giving him hell. He is mostly a pass rusher though. Okay. So we need this. But, we're in a division where we have Saquon Barkley and the tush push. If the tush push doesn't get banned, then, I don't know if we can go this route. But when you have a player that's as good against the pass rush as he is, he's a game changer. He's a game wrecker. Think a la Micah Parsons. You know, Micah Parsons was he's a game wrecker, but he's not the best against the run. And that's why Jerry Jones got rid of him.
And Trey Hendrickson, same way. He can rush the passer, but he can't do nothing against the run. Okay.
Yep. So again, very good players. You're at number 7. You're not top 3. You're not top 5. But when you get to number 7, you know you may have to just take what's there. And I think he's the best pass rusher in the draft. Very bendy, very quick. He has at least 1, 2, and 3 pass rush moves to go to. He's not just using the curl to get under. He has multiple moves, and he can do more with. I would say the one thing he needs to improve on is his bull rush. That's something that I really liked out of Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons he had really good bend, but his bull rush was also really good. This is the one thing I would say David Bailey has to improve on, is just that elite strength. Because if you can get your bull rush better, you can make a better impact on the run. So hopefully that's something, if we do draft him, we can coach him up.
All right. I like that.
Let's get to the last player, because this is the player that I really want to talk about. This is the player that the fans are craving to bring in, and that's Caleb Downs. Safety out of Ohio State. I'm sure you've heard of him by now. The fans are just talking all about him.
Well, the only thing I've heard about Downs, and this is something that I don't I take with a grain of salt, but I'm actually starting to get tired of hearing it, and that's, oh, he plays like Sean Taylor, or he admires Sean Taylor. And look, I get it.
Stop you right there.
Is he the truth?
I'm saying I'm agreeing with you
to the combine, so I don't know.
No, I'm saying let me stop the fans from saying that. I'm in agreement with you. He's not Sean Taylor. He's not Ed Reed. He's very good. He's a very, very good safety, and he has so much talent. He looks like he gets bored out there.
He plays with his food.
Exactly. And those are not the types of things I want to see from a player in college, because again, those tendencies tend to come to the league.
Yeah. He's going to get a rude awakening.
Exactly. Ohio State, in my opinion, has 3 of the top 10 defensive players in this draft. You have 3 top 10 players. You guys need to be in the national championship. They lost versus Indiana, and Indiana did win the chip, but they also lost to Miami. Miami, in my opinion, was not better than this Ohio State team, and I'm going to put that on the best players: Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese, and Sonny Styles. Three defensive players that, if they're there, people are mocking them to come to us. But Caleb Downs is the number 1 choice that a lot of fans want, so I want to focus on him. Okay. Caleb Downs is good at everything. He can do it all. He can protect deep. He can come into the box. He can tackle. He can cover the tight ends. He can cover the running backs. But he's great inside the box. Okay. The reason I'm starting to come around on Caleb Downs, and again, he's a great player. So I'm just being very picky because, like you said, fans are comparing him to Ed Reed and Sean Taylor, and he's not that. Okay. But he is great inside the box. I don't know if I should say pause because hey, yeah. But we've seen safeties like Kyle Hamilton and Derwin James, and what they've been able to do for their defenses when they're on the field, they're complete game changers, and most of it is inside the box. We don't see Kyle Hamilton, going deep down the field too often, but he can because he's a 4-3 type of guy. Nick Emanwari is another one of those guys that plays kind of down inside the box with the front 7, defending the tight end, defending the running backs, making plays on the run, making plays in the passing game. That's the type of safety that Caleb Downs is, and he's great at those things. So I really think he could be a great pick in this Dan Quinn system because Dan Quinn likes to bring his safeties down into the box. Okay. The thing I don't see out of Caleb Downs is that range that Sean Taylor and Ed Reed have. When I watched the highlights, there are no plays of him going across, sideline to sideline. That's what I want to see from a top 10 player. If you're a linebacker, you got to be sideline to sideline. If you're a safety, you got to be sideline to sideline. Caleb is not that. Now, if he comes out in the combine and runs a 4.3, sign me up. Yeah. I don't think he's going to be a 4.3. I think he's going to be a little bit more of a 4.4. Again, that's great for covering tight ends. That's great for covering running backs out of the backfield. That's great for being a part of the run. The other thing I'll say is he makes a lot of shoestring tackles with his arms. That's another thing I don't want to see from a really big safety. When I think of big safeties like Derwin James, Kyle Hamilton, Nicky Emanwori, these guys are all 6'3", 225. Caleb is 5'11", 205.
Okay.
When you come into the league and you have to go against Derrick Henry, you're not going to be able to arm tackle Derrick Henry.
Yeah, no, you're going to get killed.
So it's just little small things like that are showing up on the tape. And again, I'm nitpicking because the fans, I've been going back and forth with fans like, yo, I like Caleb Downs, but I see some, I don't want to call them red flags. I'll call them yellow flags right now. Yeah. Things that we have to be concerned.
Some little things that we need to nip in the bud.
Exactly. And I think a good coach can really work with that. So I'm happy that if we do pick him up, Dan Quinn has worked with great safeties like Cam Chancellor and other greats. So I see him being that Cam Chancellor type because Dan Quinn has worked with those. Daronte Jones had Harrison Smith in Minnesota. So these are two coaches that have worked really well with safeties, have seen players in the secondary do really well. So if Caleb Downs ends up being the pick, I think he'll do excellent for us. But I think any one of these three guys will do great work for us. Oh, yeah, before we started, go ahead.
I like the breakdown ways. I mean, that's pretty much addressing everything that we need. We need speed, we need power, and point blank period, we need a stud. We need a playmaker, a game changer. Like, we got arguably 2 to 3 on offense already with 5 McLaurin and Krosky Merritt, right? But on defense, we have nobody to game plan for. Yeah. Who? Bobby Wagner? No disrespect, but it's like we're not game planning for him. We're not game planning for Sam Rustil and them. Now, hopefully, with a different scheme, he'll be able to put these same players, in better positions.
Frankie,
but we need a playmaker, and I think Bain, Downs, and what was the third guy?
David Bailey.
I think you can't go wrong with either one because. Like with Henderson, Trey Henderson, the defensive edge rusher for Cincinnati. Some people were like, "Oh, we shouldn't bring him in because he's not good against the run." Who cares? He gave you 18 sacks last year. Who cares? Who cares? But whether you can stop the run or stop the pass or do both, we need somebody that can do something at an elite level. So definitely waiting to see what. Things are going to turn out. I can't wait to see what your breakdown is for the offensive players next week.
Hey,
but let us know what you think, Brodies.
I was going to ask you one more question, Co. So I covered defensive end and safety. The one position group we didn't really talk about, and I'm not going to get too much into it, but linebacker. If there are 2 linebackers that may not be there, but they're from Ohio State as well, I think both of them are a little bit too much of a hybrid type, Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles.
Yeah.
What do you think about linebacker at number 7?
I think we're going to have to address that in free agency because
like that. There's some linebackers.
The studs in the draft are on D-line and in the secondary. We need help at all 3 levels, and I wouldn't be surprised if Wagner comes back for another year because he's given no inclination. I don't think he's going to obviously start, but if we get some studs, we may be able to do some type of hybrid package where we only use them on run stopping and pass rushing scenarios, but he can't pass cover anymore. So let us know what you think there, bro. Just click on the bottom right-hand corner and like on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and tell a friend here. Now, anytime you go out of town, if you're, going across the country or out the country, you got to fly, right? Now, if you got some money, you're going to fly first class or at least like the upper class, middle class tier type thing where you got more leg room, but you still with the peasants, But if you don't have money, you got to fly Spirit. You got to fly Coach, right? So, we got some hires here, Wiggs. I got 10 people. I got my top 10 hires, and we're going to go over it in rapid fire here. And I just want you to give me a grade, and we'll see if we can concur with each other. So at number 10, I got Mike LaFleur, being the head coach out in Arizona. Now, there's nobody out there for him to really work with. So it's hard to give this guy a draft grade because Kyler Murray is, I don't know, playing video games somewhere. But Facts. I'm going to give this a D. What do you think, Wiggs?
I'll go just a little bit higher and give it a C. They did have the backup quarterback come in and be serviceable. So I could see them. And they have some talent around with Marvin Harrison. Maybe get another piece. And I think LaFleur is a good enough coach if you give him some weapons. And I think they have some. I think he might be able to work with Kyler Murray. So I'll give it a C. But again, this is not a game-changing hire. Yeah. This is nothing that we're going to look at and say, oh, the Cardinals are now contenders.
Yeah, and we said a couple episodes ago that their next head coach was probably just going to be the next hot, free agent. No big fish. We're going to go there. At number 9, Buffalo Bills, we got Joe Brady. Now, he was the offensive coordinator with Josh Allen. I'm going to start calling him Joke Allen. But
I like that.
He's got continuity with Allen. So I like the hire with that. I just don't like how they did Mike McDermott. But because of the continuity, I'm gonna give this a B.
I'm with you, Co. I'm not going to go as far as to give it an A yet because of the way that the last season ended with Josh Allen throwing, 2 picks and having 2 fumbles. A little bit of that has to go on the coordinator because the coordinator or the coach has to be communicating with the quarterback. These are the things we can do and these are the things we can't do. I'm going to go back to that first half fumble that Josh Allen had. That's got to be communicated to him. If it's not the coach, it's got to be the coordinator. You can't let that happen. So we saw him kind of end terribly last year, and the coach gets fired, but the coordinator gets promoted. We'll see. So again, I can't give it an A, but this same coordinator was there when Josh Allen won his Make-A-Wish MVP. So I'll give him some credit.
Chill, Wiggs. Not the charity, not the participation trophy.
We know that was supposed to go to Lamar, man. So I'll give him some credit because he did have them. And for Josh Allen to lose Stephon Diggs, nobody kind of had high hopes for them, and nobody gives James Cook any credit. He finished number 1 in rushing.
He was a rushing yards. Yeah, he was the rushing champion.
Yeah. Nobody talks about it because they like to make it seem like Josh Allen did everything by itself. But
they actually tried to blame it on James Cook's fumble. But
I'm telling you. So he had a team that had the number 1 rusher and a top quarterback. So I'll give them credit for, like you said, some continuity at least.
Okay. So at number 8, we got your team, Miami Dolphins, Wiggs, Jeff Hafley. I don't know who this guy is. And I don't know who he is, bro. And
who is this
Tua is looking like hot Tua right now. Tyreek Hill is over the hill. Waddle
coming off injury.
Yeah, I don't know what Waddle's doing. And Achane can't really stay healthy. I don't know what's going on with the defense.
Pack them up.
Yeah. I got to give this a D. What do you think, Wiggs?
Yeah, give it a D for Dolphins. We're trash. We're gonna somehow end up with 8 or 9 wins. We always end up right around 500 every season. So
y'all figure it out.
We'll figure something out. Somewhere along the way, they'll end up hitting a stride or hitting a streak and winning games. But I don't have any high hopes for them. Pack them up, man.
Okay.
Who is this guy?
Now, number 7, we got the Tennessee Titans with Robert Saleh. Now, at first I was like, meh, but then I thought about it. I said, wait a minute. He's got his franchise quarterback in Ward. They had a pretty solid defense, and that wide receiver that they had, something Dyke. He started to hit his stride at the end of the year. Right, I forgot his last name. Is like
that is his name. It is. That's right.
Okay. Nothing against the alphabet people.
Yeah, no words right there.
You know what I'm saying? Whoever they are, we don't want to upset. Whoever they are, we don't want to get Kanye. You know what I'm saying? We haven't even got put on yet.
Hey, for real.
You know what I'm saying? But I think it's going to be a solid hire. I'm going to give this a C+ because I like their defense and where it could possibly go. And he's a defensive coach, so they're going to probably, I don't know who their offensive coordinator is, but as soon as the offseason starts, I'm pretty sure they're going to break the bank to bring somebody in, give Cam Ward some weapons. So I'll give it a C+. What do you think?
You're a tough teacher, Cole, because I really like Saleh. I like what he did with the Jets, and we remember how his season ended with the Jets. The Jets were starting off at a good place, and I think he said something about some people that you can't say, and he ended up being let go, and the Jets have been trash ever since. So Robert Saleh, in my opinion, is a really good coach. Again, I talked about the 49ers earlier and them having a next man up mentality. I think Robert Saleh is a big part of that because you can see the energy that he brings on the sidelines. He's a coach that coaches with a lot of passion. So I can really see this defense continuing on a good progression. And like you said, we saw what Mike Vrabel did. Vrabel is a defensive coach. He got the right pieces in for Maye to do what he needed to do. I think Saleh has really good connections. They'll bring in some pieces like the Patriots brought in Stephon Diggs. The Titans can do the exact same thing, bring in one or two pieces, get some weapons for Cam Ward. Let's see if Cam Ward really should have been the number one pick over other players like Shedeur and others. And I think that they can do something. So I'll give this a B.
Okay. Now, speaking of Shedeur, at number 6, we got Todd Monken for the Cleveland Browns. Now, I like this because Monken did really well with Lamar Jackson. He was with the Ravens when they wanted to draft Shedeur Sanders. So I'm going to give this a B as well. What do you think?
Now, I'm going to be tougher on Monken because I've said it all along. I think he should have been giving Derrick Henry the ball a lot more. So I'm going to give this a C+.
Okay.
Because I do like the point you made about him and Shedeur. I really like seeing the part of Monken kind of being hired and going up to Shedeur and saying, hey, we wanted to draft you. And Shedeur is the one that kind of denied that. But it's a lot better going forward than it was for Stefanski. We saw what the Stefanski-Shedeur relationship looked like. And that's not conducive for winning. When you bring in a coach that likes the quarterback, that is going to give you some potential to win. So, like I said, I'm not sold on Monken's play calling. I'll have to see who he brings in as his offensive coordinator. But if Monken can just be a better head coach, then this could go from a C to a B, in my opinion.
Okay. Let's see if we can knock these out real quick. So we got number 5 here, the Raiders, with Clint Kubiak. Now, I like the Kubiak family because they come from the Shanahan offspring. So I like the offensive scheme that they're going to bring when they bring in who's the quarterback
Fernando
for Indiana?
Mendoza.
Yeah, Mendoza, they got some weapons there, right? I just think it was bad coaching there. So I like this pick. I really wanted it to go to Cliff Kingsbury, but I like this. So I'm going to give this a B as well. What do you think?
I'll give it a B-. I like Kubiak, like you said. He's coming from a great tree. His dad coached in the league as well. So I think Clint Kubiak's going to do a great job with the Raiders. And I really like the rookie as well, Fernando Mendoza. He hasn't played it down in the league, but I think he's one of he's a Russell Wilson type, Tim Tebow type. Like he's all about football. Fernando Mendoza is. And that's what you need for a franchise like the Raiders. It's the same thing we needed for the Commanders. When we got JD5 in, everybody in the building talked about, this kid is a Kobe type. He loves football. He's dedicated to football. And we saw how quickly the franchise turned around. You get a coach like Kubiak and a quarterback like Mendoza, I can see them doing really special things. So I like this hire a lot. And Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers, they got weapons.
They got a team.
In Oakland, man. Max Crosby is still there, so I can see them doing well.
And we'll see what they do in free agency as well. Now at number 4, we got Mike McCarthy with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to give this a C plus, but only because there's trading out a winning black coach for a winning white coach. Basically, they're not really improving. The only thing that Mike McCarthy has over Mike Tomlin is his playoff record. He's 11-11, but he's 11-11, but he won most of them with Green Bay. He only won one playoff game with the Cowboys. He's like 1-3. So he's had a losing record, recently, but he has enough wins, and the Steelers, they're good with longevity. So I'll give it a C plus here, but I don't expect them to really do much.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on this one, Co. I don't see this is. I kind of like what other teams did, like Seattle. Go from Pete Carroll to Mike McDonald. Like, bring somebody fresh in, somebody young with some new eyes. In my opinion, like you said, the Steelers are a 10-7 team. They're gonna be an 11-6 team now that wins one game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see much difference, and this also to me means that they probably want to keep Aaron Rodgers, which that's not a long-term solution. Yeah, so in my opinion, you kind of need to just start fresh. You lose Mike Tomlin, this is your chance to give a new head coach a chance and maybe lose and tank and get a high draft pick, because you never get a high draft pick, which is why you never get a quarterback. Good point. In my opinion, this doesn't mean they're going to lose, but it is a C because it's going to be more of the same.
Exactly. Number 3, Baltimore Ravens. They bring in Jesse Minter. I like this. He's young. He's a defensive coach. They're going to focus more on the defense, and they'll bring somebody in to work exclusively with Lamar, and hopefully they'll be able to get over the hump. I'll give this one a B as well. What do you think?
I'm giving this an A. We're tough teachers, Co. I think this is the first A anybody got on the list coming from me. I love this pick, man. To me, this is the Mike McDonald, the Mike Vrabel pick of this bunch for this year. Because the Ravens are going to be good on offense. So as long as Lamar is playing, the Ravens are going to be good. And nobody really talked about it. Todd Monken mentioned that maybe him and Lamar could have had a better relationship. I think he was just taking accountability more so than saying that they had a bad relationship. But I think there were starting to be some things going on behind closed doors between Lamar and John Harbaugh. Yeah. Just because they weren't winning, and there were, multiple reasons. Right. So I think getting fresh eyes in the building, and defense was a huge problem for the Ravens. That was never a problem in the past, but in these recent years, defense was a problem, and getting players that weren't playing good. A lot of players, a lot of people talked about Daniel Falele, the guard for the Ravens. If you go watch any Ravens game, you can almost pick any play, and this guy was whiffing and letting Lamar get hit. And it's kind of like John Harbaugh is not making a move. You bring in a new head coach, somebody that can say, I don't have any ties to anybody here. I want to see who plays the best. So I really think this is going to light a fire in Baltimore. And I see them being a Super Bowl. They're already a Super Bowl contender. I see them potentially get into the Super Bowl next year. I love Mike Vrabel. I love Mike McDonald in year 2 with the Ravens. So I'm giving this an A.
Okay. Now, number 2, we got the Atlanta Falcons with Kevin Stefanski. F. What do you think, Wicks?
Hey, I'm right there with you. I'll go D. I'll go D just because people have said Stefanski's guy coach of the year. I think Atlanta. Where he's gonna get saved is Atlanta has good pieces on defense.
Yeah, they got a good weapon. I'm just saying F, because if you sabotage yourself and someone else to get out of a team, like I don't have any more respect for him. And he had less wins than the man that they fired, so I don't respect him. But to your point, they got some weapons. But to wrap things up, John Harbaugh with the New York Giants, baby. This is my only A right here, Wiggs. What do you think?
Okay. I'll give this a B, because I do like it's a la Tom Coughlin. The Giants won the Super Bowl when they got somebody that can come in and establish a culture. And I think John Harbaugh will do that. So I'll give this a B because I think, he should have won. He should have won one with Lamar. That's
I agree.
The only thing I'll say. So
I agree. That's all we got for today's episode there, Brodies. Click on the bottom right-hand corner and like and subscribe on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And tell a friend to tell a friend. Wiggs, we did it. We got it. We got it all under an hour. But until then, though, it's the Lord here, Co-Worlds, my main man, Jay Wiggs here. We're going to see y'all next week. It's Brody Sports Talk, y'all. Peace.